Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It is Friday, and I got my co host on the show right now. I just brought him in. No warning. Here we
You know,
go. Here we
man,
go. It's a new day, it's a new year, a
yeah,
new year for the show. For those who don't know and who may be here with us, this is year three. October 14th was exactly year three. So it's a new year, new things, pivots, shifts, all kind of stuff happening over here in purpose and productivity. In the purpose and productivity show, we have been going through some rebranding, some updates, and we may get into some of that tonight. But before I keep going for a long time, Mr. Hicks, how you doing, sir? Welcome to the show.
listen, appreciate you, sis. It's another good day, another opportunity to be with you and the purpose and productivity community. So we just gonna have a good time.
Yeah. For those who may not know who you are, it's hard for me to believe that they don't. Let folks know who you are, what you got going on, where you come from, all those good things.
Listen, I'm Northern California. I call myself an engineering technologist by trade and by passion. My role, what I do is I tell stories. And I allow folks to get it out of themselves, get out of their own way so they can tell their own stories as well. So from an entrepreneurial perspective, from a digital content creator perspective, and just like to talk and learn and grow with others as well that are along the same journey. So again, just a pleasure to be here with you.
You know, it's always good for me to hang out with you. Uh, this is what I'm going to say to those of you who have joined us. For those who know, you know, come on into the lounge. We want to see you. We want you to engage with us. We've got actor speakers set up. So if you want to come on camera, we can certainly make that happen. Want to see you. And if you don't know about the lounge and how to get in, you'll have an opportunity later. Frank will, or Josh will drop the link to our community on school in chat for you. And I actually need to bring up the chat window because I didn't bring it up. So let's say hello to some folks out there have decided to join us. We have, I'm going to start with this young lady. Hello, Miss Yolanda B. How you doing,
Mm.
ma'am?
What's
So
happening,
glad to
Yolanda?
have you in the building.
I'm sorry about them Ravens right now, though. I know she
Wait,
probably Lord have ooh,
wait. You about to get
she
in
probably.
trouble. You about to get in trouble. Tread
I'm gonna
carefully.
start 3 minutes in. I'm already gonna start acting a fool. Oh Lord, I'm sorry.
Hello, emotional CEO, one of our moderators extraordinaire. So glad to have you in the building serving as always. Glad to have you here. And of course, we have Frank Jackson, who is here with us in the lounge as well as in YouTube. Then we have another wonderful young lady, Miss Denise Jordan, with
Hey,
us here. Hey, Denise, you
we
overcame all
we
those struggles the other day.
and Denise, we made a clip for you from last night. I don't know if you did. Did you send it to her, Florence?
No, I
Talk about
did
me
not. You
being in
can
my
grab it and
feelings.
send it to her about James being in his feelings last night. In his
Uh,
feelings.
we did a
In.
little something specifically for you. Yeah,
And then
we.
he was out there boiling the ocean with all kind of salt and
All right. See, there we
dad
go. We're not
bod.
gonna go back. We're not gonna go back down that path. That was it was a bad night. Okay, we're gonna move forward. Amen. Hey.
And Denise, I mean, Yolanda says to you, yes,
Mm.
leave my ravens alone. They may be terrible, but they're our ravens. Leave them alone. Don't be
All
messing
right.
with
You
them.
know what?
Don't be messing with
I'm not gonna say no more. I'm gonna say something later, but I'm not gonna say nothing right now.
them. So, gang, today is really about questions you have about your creator workflows, what you do, whether it's painting, graphics, writing, video, singing, lyrics, writing poetry, whatever it is, speeches, sermons, you name it, whatever you create. We are here to answer your questions you have about managing your workflows and the energy and attention that it takes. So get your questions in, get your questions in. James gonna answer them. I'ma listen and take notes. He gonna answer. Just to be real clear. Okay.
I'm just gonna give you my, jaded view of how I think the world should run, but that's all I can do for you. That's all I can do for you.
So I'm gonna watch for questions. So we really want your questions in, and just so for the community to know, we're really leaning into making sure this is a time that's set for you to get your questions answered, not just tonight, but going forward. That is the focus on all of the live shows. It's really about you asking questions, us answering questions, and when we don't have the answer, doing the research to get the answer back to you. So I'm
Well,
glad to hear that. But of course, I always come with questions, just in case they don't.
prepared,
So
just in
I
case they
just want
badge
us to,
them.
yeah, exactly, be prepared a little bit, little tiny, tiny bit. So one of the questions I actually want us to dig into is what are some two or three, if you want to do more, resources that we use to streamline our creative workflow. And I want to move, I'm going to say, so I'm going to set you up, do one of
Mm.
yours. I want to move beyond solely video because there's so many other parts and you are a master at planning out your workflows and I've seen you, sitting at the coffee shop mapping it out. So what are some of the tools you use, some of the resources you lean on to make it not overwhelming?
Well, I appreciate that statement right there because it's everything is done consciously as well, right? So there's very little work or execution or time spent that is wasted. So I literally will have, you want to talk specific tools, I literally have like a Pomodoro timer stating that when I am chilling in my local Pete's or my local Starbucks, my local wherever, I'm putting on a focus mode. I'm saying 15, 20 minutes of time. I'm going to be dedicated to this particular activity. I'm not listening to anybody that's around me. I'm locked in on making sure that that task it gets executed during that particular time. Once that Pomodoro timer goes off, boom, all of my notifications come back, and then I can take a sip of my coffee or whatever. But it's really about being locked in on the task at hand. And I tend to go out and divide my activities from a strategy perspective and then from an execution perspective.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, get
So
into that.
watch yourself now. We could have gotten into this last night, but y'all wanted to make Sora videos. Okay. Uh,
You know what? You about to get it.
I'm about to get it.
Y'all gonna see him get beat down on camera.
Oh, right here, live TV, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be better than World Star. So think about it from a strategy perspective. For me, it's really content management. It's really document management. It's really having a repository for all of my thoughts and all of my ideas. You want to talk tools, but my primary tool that I've not settled on, but my primary tool that I've become most frequently utilized is Notion. Right. I've gone back and forth between things like Asana. I've gone back and forth between things like ClickUp. I've used. I know you're a big Evernote user as well, but I've decided to park my truck in the Notion camp.
Okay.
Why? Because it allows me to be flexible in terms of how I set up views for myself, and then other for views for other people that I collaborate with. As you know, within the technologist forum, I allow other folks to collaborate, contribute, and provide feedback as well. You only see a specific piece of that though, but that really is where I have everything from my business records, everything from my uh, assets for what my shows look like, everything from my overlays and my scenes and my images and my sound files. So everything there from a strategic perspective when it comes to consulting and I call them infocasts, not instead of live streams, but everything from my consulting and my infocast is in
Mm-hmm.
that particular database. And I'm able to parse through that and see where I'm at today, where I'm going to be at in the next 6 months, and where I'm going to be next calendar year. So I already know. I don't know what I'm going to produce, but I know what the thought pattern is behind it. I already have my themes, right? I already
Mhm,
know what the technologist forum is going to look like 6 months down the road.
mhm.
I already know who I want to reach out and engage with to have them on the show so they can actually provide consult to the community as well. So from a strategic perspective, that's where I have everything. And I've also decided to go with Notion because I like the mobile app. I spend a lot more most of my time on the mobile app anyway. And there's some
Mhm.
other tools that are out there that don't have as much of a robust mobile experience. Listen, when I'm 35,000 feet in the air, y'all know that's how I spend a lot of my time. When I'm flying, if I can boom, just drop something on my phone, and then let it sync back to the primary system. That's taking those steps out of the workflow for me. So that's why that I've been one of the tools that I really use from a strategically efficiency and planning perspective. Notion is my go-to today, probably
Okay.
for a while too, because I don't want to keep bouncing back and forth between a lot of them, but yeah, Notion has been pretty good to me for a while. Greg
Hold
says no fighting on
hold
camera.
on. I just did something dumb.
Oh Lord, don't push the button when
I'm
I'm
still
on a
new.
roll now.
I'm still claiming the new card. I know we just had that conversation, right? I say I'm new, but I'm not new.
It's all right, sis. I'll
Go
just
ahead and
take a drip. Y'all think it's coffee, but this may be something else.
I'm a mess, but I'm a good mess. Um, you know,
That just proves that we're live. Live happen.
live happens, and I'm not embarrassed by it. Let me just tell you, because this is real, right? If it happened to me, it's gonna happen to somebody else. You get over it and keep on moving. Um, Frank told us we can't fight on camera.
Mhm.
Okay, sure. Um, and Denise did like your boil in the ocean, and she does want her clip, so you need to get it and send it to her.
I'll make that happen. I will make that happen, sis. Appreciate you.
You said something in the very beginning that was more important than the tool you're using. Whatever Pomodoro timer you're using, doesn't matter, they're a dime a dozen,
Mhm.
is when you decide on the activity or the task that you're tackling, you consciously and intentionally remove every distraction.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That
mean, because
that was
if I
powerful.
listen, if I don't, then every notification, every dopamine hit is gonna be an emergency that has to be dealt with immediately, and it doesn't, right? Every time I get a notification, every time I get an email, every time I get whatever coming through that takes me off of the path of where I'm striving to get to. And I think
Mhm,
that's a barrier. I don't think I know that's a barrier for a lot of folks that get caught up in the now, get caught up in the tactical as opposed to the strategic and get lost in the way. A lot of
mhm,
things will start popping up and you think that they're more important and you want to respond to it as soon as possible, but just turn it off. Put it on pause.
mm.
Put a focus mode. iPhone users put it on a focus mode and say, "Don't bother me for another hour," or "Don't bother me until tomorrow." It really can wait if you're trying to be locked in on an activity to progress you personally and professionally.
Mhm.
Stay locked in on that as opposed to being distracted by all the noise.
There this is not a distraction show tonight. That's not the main topic, but you really as
I done threw
as
your whole run of show off, haven't I?
it's all good because they ain't asking no questions. They should ask questions. I'm gonna get what I need, y'all. So, and I desire that
Mm.
you're listening and um you take away some gems to apply in your business in your operation. But that having an effective tool for you, it's Notion, that supports what you're accomplishing, and then pairing that with however you manage your digital environment to remove distractions as well as your physical environment. You
Yeah.
don't listen to the music in the coffee shop and the whatever, the people talking and the barista going and whatever. You don't listen, you turn it, you just really lock in and say, I'm blocking off whatever it's 20 minutes, 25 minutes, an hour, whatever it is. How often are you going through that process? Is it once a week, once a day, 3 times a week? Kind of what's your cadence?
I do have that's an excellent question right there, right? Because again, consciously planning time, consciously planning focus time matters. The location doesn't necessarily matter. Again, it could be here in the studio, it could be in the backyard, it could be at the coffee shop. But again, consciously saying these are my focus hours. So I do have that blocked off in my calendar. And again, we can talk about apps if you want to. I use Sunsana for that. So Sunsana really allows me to have conscious focus time where I can plan exactly what's going on throughout the day. And one thing I wanted to make note of it as well, when I put the AirPods in and I say I'm not listening to music, I'm not listening to anything. I put the noise canceling on and there's literally nothing going on. I hear nothing, not even white noise. So I'm completely locked out of everything that's going on around me. I'm in that environment, but I don't hear anything except what's in front of me on my keyboard or the book that I'm reading, whatever the case may be. So that works for me. It may not work for everybody else, right? You may want to have some cool lo-fi going in your headphones. You may want to do whatever that makes you stay locked in and stay focused. But for me, I literally double tap through the extreme noise canceling on the AirPods, and I have nothing going at all. So I wanted to make that clear as well, just again because different strokes, different folks, but that is how I managed through that particular time.
Mhm. When I'm gonna ask another question here. When you are uh, looking at your roadmap, you said you have the next calendar year planned out.
Hmm.
When you're looking at your roadmap for what you're producing, whether it's one of your articles on your blog articles, whether your series of blog articles, your infocast, your podcast, your social post, like all of the things, right? Update to your website and your designs. What's your process for looking at modifying your roadmap? Right. So all of those are on a roadmap for you. What's your
Yeah.
process for modifying your roadmap? Because sometimes we have to modify this joker and say, I'm going to go here instead of there. I'm going to do more. You know, I would give you the example. You and I talked. If I step on your toes or say something you don't want, just kick me under the table. But you've made the conscious decision to host your blog articles on your Substack
Hmm.
page rather than where you were putting them before. That
Yeah.
was a roadmap change. What's your process as you start to navigate and think about I'm making a shift here?
I'm a data nerd. So I look at analytics. I'm anal about the analytics. I look at engagement. I look at where you're coming from, what time you're coming in, male versus female, US versus global. I look at how long you stay on a particular post as well. So I'm deep in all of the analytics of how my content is reaching the community and how you're consuming it. The reason that I moved from LinkedIn for my newsletter and my blog post was because the view count was there because LinkedIn just pushes it out to all 5, 6,000 people, however many people you're connected with. And but that's not what I want. And I don't want to be the noisy notification. I was looking at the engagement patterns, how long you were looking at it, if you were sharing it, if you were reposting it, if you were quoting on those particular pieces of content as well, if it actually brought enough value that you wanted to share that with someone as well. Less the monetization piece because you can monetize Substack, but you can't monetize LinkedIn. But it was really around looking at the analytics and seeing how the content was landing and resonating with that particular audience. I personally might get me in trouble. I personally don't like the where LinkedIn is going because I don't think that they're as locked in on the creative side. It's just now posting all the good things that you've done. You're at a conference, you're at an event, you're out doing whatever. Hey, let me take a photo and say that I've been there and I got a new job. I got a new certification. It's that. It's turned into more of a social network as opposed to an engagement platform. I don't like that. I'm still there, obviously, but less of my focus for reaching and talking to my community and my super fans, the folks that want to be in this digital collective. I had to move that to somewhere where I had more control of and where I saw that there was more active engagement. There were more shares, there were more recommendations. And I'm using terms that are specific to Substack right now, the recommendation
Mhm.
pieces and things like that. And more folks were, again, not just the monetization side, but more folks were signing up from a monetization perspective. So yeah, I got to look at that and I got to pay attention to it. But
Mhm.
each platform is going to be different.
Mhm.
So that was the reason for going from LinkedIn to Substack.
I
YouTube
did
again.
say where you came from. I purposely,
I
intentionally
put my
said
stuff
it the
out
way
there.
I did. I was like, I'm not gonna say
I,
what, just
I'll
what
put
you're
my
doing
stuff
made
out
this.
there.
Yeah.
There's some other things I won't say, but I'll put my okay. I'll put my own foot in my face.
I I wasn't gonna say, not my place.
Yeah.
Um,
But again, that's a great question because again, if you're not on top of your business, if you're not actively looking at it on a quarterly basis, on a every 6 month basis, more than a year, if you want to stay relevant because these platforms are changing so frequently, you really got to think about it on at least a quarterly, 6 month basis of what's right for you, and does this place that you've been in for X number of months, X number of years, does it still resonate? Does it still matter? Is it
mhm.
still the best bang for your time, energy, and effort? For me, LinkedIn was not.
Okay. And so as you're moving in that, you made that shift.
Yeah.
All of the various things that you do, all of your um, creative outlets, they take time to to create, to brainstorm, to execute, to do all the work in the black room that no one sees you doing.
Hmm.
What is your I know you take a particular task or a particular activity and you go wherever and you lock in.
Yeah.
You also, I believe, um, use the principle of time blocking. So you have times in your day, if I recall, is that accurate?
Yeah.
That you
I'm a eat the
for
frog guy.
certain for different types of activities.
Yeah.
And how does
And
that
and
help
I
you
can
manage that energy and
okay.
attention that you're giving to the business?
Yeah, appreciate that. Again, it's a GTD, getting things done type of philosophy and methodology. So I am a eat the frog guy. I
Mhm.
will write down the night before in my planner, in my journal, or now within Sunsama, because I'm again starting to move forward with that as my daily time blocking activity. At least the 5 things I want to do the next day. The top three are the harder. Right, so I
Mhm.
wanna eat the frog, I wanna tackle the harder things first. So the top 3 things are the hardest things I wanna do the very next day, then I'll put in a couple other ancillary things that probably slipped off of my schedule. But that I'm it's still a struggle, but I'm really trying to get to the point of I won't do anything else until I at least get those top 3 done. Those other ones, they can slide because they're you think about it, your old A priority, B priority, C priority, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Those can continue to slip until that critical path point within the project plan actually gets too close. But
Mhm.
I try not to actually do anything else until I at least get those top 3 done.
Mhm.
It's it's a it's a work in progress, but it's a conscious work in progress, but that allows me to leverage the waking time that I have to still do me, be attentive to my wife, my family, and things like that. So to be able to not just be in this office or be in this studio or not just be focusing on Hicks New Media activities 24 hours a day, but to still be a person.
Mhm.
If I didn't consciously write it down, if I didn't consciously put it in my calendar as an activity to do, it's going to slip. It again, that's just how I am, and everyone has their own mentality and their own personality. I'm a visual person. I got whiteboards in the office here. I got vision boards out in the garage. I got every moleskin that you want. I'd like to write down more of my thoughts and ideas and then prioritize them that night before and then put them into play, put them into action. So that's again, that's that strategic versus that execution piece.
Mhm.
Right? What all day we're like everyone, we're always thinking about what we want to do, how we want to get there, what are our thoughts, what are our ideas. If you're not capturing those, you're gonna forget. Or you're gonna lose that gem that probably was the thing that had got you from point A to point C. Just, leapfrogging over something else. But if you don't actually document your progress or document your activities, you're gonna forget something. So I got more pens and pencils. Listen, I,
Don't get me
I
started.
I'm about to say you and the fountain pens. You one of us too. You one of us crazy folks too. But
Don't
you
get
got to
me
do you
started.
you really have to do it. You have to be conscious about handling your business. And when I say your business from a personal and a professional side, you have to be conscious about what are the things that are important to you, eliminating the noise. Back to my analogy about the AirPods and in noise cancellation mode, and doing the things that you know will push you to that next level.
Mhm.
Not listening to other folks that are in different areas of a similar journey, but you can't compare yourself to somebody else. You can look and you can take note, or you can look and just recognize that someone has either gone through an experience or is going through an experience, and you can kind of take a gander at that. But you can't compare yourself to other folks. You have to be confident in your own activities, in your own mental space, and in your own clarity,
Mhm.
and be willing to be actionable about those items that you want to get done.
Yeah.
So it's a get out of your own way kind of thing, and you have to be conscious about it. So I write it down, or I and Notion, and is it Sunsana or Sunsama? I want to make sure I'm saying it the right way.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me open it. Sunsama,
uh
Sunsama. I want to make sure I was saying it the right way.
okay. So we do have a couple of questions.
Uh oh,
Denise
there go
asked, "What
Denise
are your
again.
thoughts about fan base?" I think that's the
Oh
name.
Lord,
It's the
that's Isaac Hayes the third.
yeah, the platform owned by Isaac Hayes the third.
Oh yeah,
What do you think about that?
Isaac 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 Hayes the third. Good businessman. Good. He is leveraging the his namesake. Isaac Hayes the third got into some hot water a few months ago. I mean, it might have been even a year ago, to be honest with you, where he was saying some things with some folks that were part of the fan base community, and it just didn't look well. It was y'all do your research on that. Y'all Google fan base Isaac Hayes the third controversy. I think what he has built is a good platform for creators looking to engage with like-minded folks. Fan base is primarily focused on the African American community who are entrepreneurs, who are creators as well, and it kind of consolidates a lot of capabilities. It allows you to have communities. It allows you to do live streaming. It allows you think of Clubhouse. Think of Clubhouse and Instagram kind of molded together. Right, you can share content from photos and videos perspective. You can actually build your own communities. You can actually charge for conversations within the platform as well. Fan base themselves takes a percentage out of that because you're leveraging their platform. Um, there was just I didn't like the conversations that were had with him and some of the folks that were disagreeing with some of his business philosophy and business methodology, and I didn't like the way that he handled it, which is why I left the platform. That was 6, 8 months ago. I haven't looked at it since. I know some folks that are still actively leveraging the platform. It's a phenomenal idea. I know he's got, what's the guy? Mr. Wonderful from,
Shark Tank.
from Shark Tank. Yeah, so he's got that guy. He's got him involved as an investor and as an advocate for the platform as well. So the idea is a great platform. Again, digital content, photo content, video content, able to monetize, able to create community, and it's mobile optimized. I just left because again, there were some things that
Ooh,
his commentary when he was dealing with some contentious members of the platform didn't seem right to me.
okay.
It
I
was an integrity thing. It was an integrity thing for being but he
mm, mhm.
apologized, right? But, and I'm sure they're still doing a phenomenal job, and I wish them nothing but the best. For me, it just doesn't make sense for me to do a split brain and go there though, right? And try to build a community there as well when I'm already locked in on platforms that I own or other venues. So,
Y y That last statement is the power statement from my
mm,
perspective, from a productivity standpoint. Some new things may be great. It's like you try every new task manager that comes out in the app store with your
mhm,
pick your flavor of an app store. And you never actually are executing the task that you need to execute to move you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. What you're doing is basically being busy and spinning
yeah,
around in the same place, the same place, the same place, and not going anywhere. And not that new platforms, I've full disclosure, I've never seen fan base, have never no interest in looking at it. People trying to get me still to go to Instagram. Let me just be really clear. I said one time on a live stream, there are some things I simply don't do. And I'm very clear about it and I'm very intentional about it. They're not an accident. You
mhm,
cannot be everywhere and be everything to everybody. It is an impossibility for any single human to be all things to all people and be everywhere. We're not
yeah,
omnipresent.
yeah. And plus, you think about this as well, the content delivery and the content consumption on each of the platforms is different. Like, people on TikTok consume differently than people on Threads, than people on Instagram, than people on Facebook, than people on Fanbase, people on what are the kids using? The Snapchats? I don't know what they
I
use.
don't even know if
But
Snapchat is still around, frankly. I have no
but
idea.
y
And I'm
right, you
not
think about
interested
it.
in learning, frankly.
Yeah. No, the 30, 60, 90 second swipe left, swipe right. Again, the consumption model and the consumption appetite on each of these platforms is different. Even YouTube, think about it with short.
Hmm.
You know it's going to be 30 seconds to now it's 3 minutes,
Hmm.
preferably 9 by 16, but you can do 1 by 1 aspect as well. But that model of consumption is different than a 16 by 9 45-minute conversation, talking head discussion.
Right.
And you're going to
Yeah.
be either isolating a piece of your community or you may actually gain some folks from a short term perspective, but it's dependent on where you want to spend your energy and your time. It got to be very troublesome and tiresome trying to keep up with all the things. I look at all the platforms just because it's part of my role, right? Again, if
Hmm.
I'm going to be a teacher, if I'm going to be a consultant, if I'm going to be a subject matter expert or a trusted advisor, I kind of need to at least have a 35,000-foot level understanding of these platforms, where I can at
Hmm.
least talk intelligently when Denise is asking me, Irina was asking, and she was wondering if that's a place for
Yeah.
her based on her content. Right, so
Hmm.
I at least need to be able to have an understanding of what the mission is of those particular platforms, what the trajectory is, if there's any longevity as well. So those type of things, but it's not sustainable to try to be everywhere all the time, every day. It just doesn't work. Prove me wrong. I want I wish somebody would prove me wrong and
And she
still
said
have
she's been
sanity.
wondering if there's a place over there for her. Okay. And she also said she's working on eliminating the noise.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a
I mean
powerful one.
I
Eliminating
mean,
the
I would think
noise.
I mean, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I would think of Denise too. With someone from her stature, her perspective, for a relatively large channel, right? So, shouts out and congratulations on that aspect right there. You've
Mhm.
probably got folks reaching out to you every other day saying, "Hey, Denise, can you do a video? Can I send you some X, Y, and Z?" And you just do a quick promo video. You don't have to pay for it. You just do the video for us, and we'll pay you for it. But if it doesn't align with homemaking with Denise, and you end up doing a video about, I don't know, Lark water bottles, it might work and it might not work. It might ostracize a bit of your community and be like, "Oh, Lord, here she just out here trying to get the bag. She's right giving into just the financial gain piece." And that could be detrimental to the clout that you've built up. That could be detrimental to the community that you've built up as well. Not saying don't go chase the bag or anything like that, but just understand that there's pros and cons, and there's ramifications to doing every single thing that we do, especially when we put ourselves out here in these streets. Shouts out to Lark Water Bottle. Man, you better get you one of these. Okay. I can do that. I'm not sure that these can do that, but
So she just says pretty much just on YouTube and she dabbles on the others.
yeah.
Okay. We do have another question. Let me go back and grab the other question. And that question comes from Frank Jackson. He says, "Can someone outgrow platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook as their goals evolve?"
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Listen,
That's a
Mike
good
Jackson
one.
back there.
That's
Man back there,
oof.
moderator extreme. He back there in the back just coming up with some gems, boy. Can you out yes, you can definitely outgrow all these platforms. Don't think just because people are on this platform that we're on right now, you're making $5 a month to making $5 million a month. There are some folks that are doing ridiculously numbers like that, that you still can't outgrow it because you're limited to the constraints of the platform. LinkedIn is going a specific way. I think Frank mentioned about Facebook as well. Facebook, if we're going live right now on Facebook, you got to think of that. What is it? Every 30 to
Every 30
60,
days. If
third,
I
every
think it's
30 days, they're
if
deleting
it's
your live video,
if it's not being watched, I think it's the
right?
caveat.
So you got a catalog of content that you've put out there on that particular platform on Facebook. And after 30 to 60 days, they're going to delete it. Why? They can do that because they own that platform. But if you want to maintain that catalog, put it somewhere that you own. YouTube is going through a lot of adjustments and updates in the platform. Most of them are pretty good, right? Especially for creators, opportunities for creators, especially for small and smaller channels to get into monetization, to get brand opportunities, to uh, get into the super chats and the hypes, and the uh, courses are being launched, and all kind of aspects are coming into the platform. But again, not everyone gets them when they supposedly launch them. Not everyone can take advantage of them, depending on your size as well, depending on your location as well. So, and then again, some of the functionality and capability may not necessarily resonate with your particular audience in your community. It may be great for like gamers. It may be great for uh, online chefs. It may be great for sports shows. It may be great for particular types of communities, but it may not resonate with you. So, again, you got to think about who you're trying to reach, what you're trying to do, and what you want to talk about, and diversify. Don't put all your 401k in Merrill Lynch. Go put a couple of dollars over there in E Trade or something. Right. Diversify where you have your products and your services. We don't own YouTube. We love YouTube because it's probably the best location for sharing stories online and building a global community. But again, we don't own that. Once once Florence turns this stream off and stops the live stream, she has isolated copies of audio and video. She
Mhm.
owns that. It's locally on her hard drive. She can put that anywhere she wants. She can put that in her school community. She can put that on a WordPress website that she owns. She can put that wherever she wants, but she owns that particular content. If YouTube goes down again, like they did a couple of days ago this week, and it was only down for a few hours, but God forbid something happens, a ransomware attack happens, or whatever the case may be, someone's livelihood who was only depending on YouTube has completely gone away. I remember years ago, I had many conversations with folks who spent all of their time and put all of their eggs in Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups and Facebook pages. And then as Facebook changed more to a meta and started doing different things, especially in terms of what you can and cannot put on the platform, a lot of folks had to start pivoting and they weren't planning on pivoting, going into different businesses and leaving the platform, going spending money and buying into other platforms that they actually own. So kind of keep that in mind. I don't know it's a long-winded answer to your question, Frank, but yeah, people definitely can't outgrow all of these platforms, especially when you don't have the keys, right? When you just have a lease instead of the mortgage.
Yeah. And there's another factor.
Mm,
And the factor is, what are the goals? What goals does a person have? And how does the individual prefer and desire to operate?
yeah,
Uh, And the individual would do well to take those factors into consideration because they make a difference. They actually make a difference. As you know, James, one of my principles is I want to have a safe place offline that I can work with community members, because the work that I do and the topic that I address is, there's a piece of it that is deeply personal to a person, to
yeah,
an individual, to each and every last one of them, and it does not belong on YouTube or Facebook or what platform do you pick one,
yeah.
anyone, doesn't matter, peanut butter. It belongs in a place where the person can really let their guard down and we can go to work together.
Yeah, and you can't do that
You
unless you
c-
own that.
you can't
You
do it in a public place.
yeah. And hopefully by saying this and saying that, folks understand that for that premium level of access, for that deeper conversation, you get what you pay for. So an invoice is going to have to come. If you want Florence Donald for 45 minutes, 60 minutes of real dedicated focused time helping you to achieve your future goals for the next calendar year, she can put some high level bullet points in the community. Yeah, and that's all dope too. But listen, if you all want to start rolling up the sleeves and really getting down into it, uh, we business folks here. Invoices are necessary, right? Financial, there's got to be a give and a take. I'm gonna give if Florence will give you her time and her expertise, you have to be willing to pay attention, lock in, focus, and compensate for that knowledge as well.
Uh, Thank you. I appreciate that. We did get some more comments from Denise, and I want to go back to this because you talked about it, but I didn't bring it up. And she talked about she's getting calls and outreach every day. She's not gifting collabs. Absolutely. And she could use some financial gain. You just talked about that. Denise, did you hit 100,000 yet? You're real close to it. You are if you didn't hit it already, I didn't look at the numbers this week, but if you have not hit it, you're knocking on the door of 100,000 subscribers. And every brand out there is probably looking at you right now. So, yeah.
92.5. She close. 92.5.
Yeah, she's right at, like, the door is cracked open. The door is
We
cracked
are going to
open.
celebrate that because
Yes, we are. She has been
the blood,
working.
sweat, and tears.
She has been working.
Yeah.
And Yolanda says, love that about the community you've created, Florence. Not everything is meant to be shared on the internet. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's not meant to be shared on the internet. Hey, David Hunt. Glad to have you in the building. What are you talking? David Hunt to my Bitcoin. I have whatever.
He just blurting out stuff. Lord have mercy.
I love him. I love my brother, love my brother, love my brother. And Denise says, I need to promote people joining my email list again, try to get more people to sign up.
Yeah, because that again is
This
something
one,
that you own.
this one
Yeah,
we
that's
talked
huge.
about, we were talking about in the green room, James.
Mhm.
Understanding, this is one of those efficiency things in my mind. Understanding taking a person who just finds you through a true customer journey, getting them at the top of the funnel. How do you get them
Yeah.
to at the top? And what is your top of funnel, right? It's the top of funnel for different people. It's different. Um, but once you get them there, what is your process? Not only just the steps, but what are the points of transformation are you taking the person through so that they're moving along and they're just not investing their time and their energy and their dollars and they don't see a return.
Yeah.
They've gotta see a return.
And for the consultant, for the coach, I'll just add to that statement as well. All money's not good money. So a discovery conversation with someone who wants to get all, all good intent and purposes, someone who's trying to level up, someone who wants to do something. But again, we all have kind of that six, seven, that spidey sense. All money can't be good money, and if it doesn't match, if it doesn't resonate, if the direction I want to take someone hearing their concerns and their needs during the discovery call, if it doesn't match, and I feel that I'm probably not the right person to help them along that journey, I do have a pretty deep Rolodex and I can point them into a direction. If again, I don't feel like I'm the right person for them at that particular point in their journey. So I'm comfortable and confident enough in myself and my abilities to say, Florence, maybe you and I aren't the best match. However, let me put you in touch with David Hunt, who does X, Y, and Z, and he's got these particular skills, and he can help you along the way as well. So I'm comfortable and confident enough, again, in my conversation and in my pitch to say, let's put you to somewhere else. And I'm still satisfied from that perspective. That at least put you in the right location. But that top of the funnel, that engagement activity, that invoicing activity is different for everyone else. Really, my live streams are part of the top, right? If I can bring you in, you can see how crazy I am online. You see how much I talk with my hands. You see how I try to be very personable in terms of my discussion. Don't hold any bars. I'm very unbiased. Florence, you've heard me say I will tell a company if their baby's ugly a lot of times, and so I'm very upfront in terms of advocating for folks as opposed to influencing. I don't like the word influence. I like the word to advocate. So I will say X, Y, and Z company, you did an LTD, you did a lifetime deal. Great. So we don't have to pay anymore. We bought it for $400. We don't have to pay anymore. But how are you making money? I don't want
Right.
to work with you. I really don't want to work with you if you don't have a strategy or a plan in place to continue to be profitable. So I have had that conversation with a gang of companies. I haven't had anybody hang up on me. I think they've respected me for having that dialogue with them. But where
Mhm.
I'm going with that is for each creator, each coach, each entrepreneur, that top of the funnel aspect, that name, email, phone number, address, that type of thing is different. For me, again, the live streams are really at the top, and then I get you in. We have that discovery call. We see if it works out right. Then we start talking about more of those deeper conversations about whatever it is you're trying to do. Trying to build a show. I'm trying to build some SOPs. I'm trying to figure out what technical gear to buy. Right. I want you to do whatever the case may be. And if it resonates, we sign on a dotted line and we go make it happen.
Right. So here's the thing. Again, we're talking creator workflows you just laid out. a whole workflow to everybody, whatever you're doing. Um, and you may not be in chat right now. You may be listening on a replay, watching on a replay. Figure out what your workflows are, and not only figure them out in your head, write
Mm,
them down. Because sometimes you will find you're doing some, not sometimes, all the time. You're in a process and you go, "Oh, that didn't work out so well. That took me 3 hours and I thought it was going to take me 20 minutes. What do I need to change in how I'm executing?"
yeah.
Right?
And don't
Oh,
be stuck on stupid. Don't be stuck on stubborn. Let me say that. Okay, I won't
thank
call
you.
anybody
Don't be
stupid.
stuck on
Don't
stubborn.
don't be stuck on stubborn. Know when it's time to go ahead and veer to another lane, right? If it's continuing to not bring fruit, if you're, yeah, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, but again, you can't be continuing to go down the same path, and it's one detrimental probably to your health, to uh, your relationships from a family perspective as well. But keep going down this particular path, thinking that this is the way to go. Know what aspects of your plan can be negotiated. Stay locked in and true to your dreams and your goals and all that. But again, the stuff that's noise that's around that, know what can be pushed aside, leveraged, changed, whatever the case may be. Again, stay locked in on the light at the end of the tunnel, that main goal and that main mission. But a lot of the other stuff that comes around you is noise. And a lot of times that noise is coming from folks
They
who
have a
aren't
different
in the
goal.
race,
They have
who
a
aren't
different
in the
goal.
race that are trying to tell you, the Monday morning quarterbacks. I always got to put a sports analogy when I talk. The Monday morning quarterbacks who never been in the locker room, but they can tell you how to do what it is that you're trying to do. If you're not in this content creation game, if you're not in this entrepreneurship game, if you haven't turned on these lights, press record, and talked into the microphone, if you've never done that, you better not tell me. You better not tell me how to do the thing. So, okay, I'm sorry. I'll leave that alone.
It's David, we're going to come to your question. We see it. I see it. Uh, it's interesting because as you go through your journey, whether it's entrepreneurship, live streaming, content creation, for whatever platform and however that looks. And I want to just remind people that there are all kinds of forms of content creation.
Mhm.
I'm good for seeing we are all creators. We all create something somewhere. The person who has a 9 to 5, the proverbial 9 to 5 or 3 to 11 or 11 to 7, whatever your work hours are, you have a job that you go to, you have an employer, whatever, you still create
Mm.
every single day of your life. You're writing emails, that's creating. You're responding to questions. You've got to think about that and create that answer. Even if you are updating a SOP, you're still creating. You're posting something in a community, that's creating. You're singing a song, that's creating. So we're all creators, and so many people, talk to myself, they don't see that creative part of their life, just living their life.
Mm.
And so these workflows we're talking about, they really scale they go beyond YouTube, Substack, LinkedIn,
Yes.
whatever, whatever, whatever. They're
Yeah.
really a core part of just simply living, cooking a meal, decorating a home, rearranging your furniture. Takes a level of creativity. Heck, figuring out your clothes. I, I I know someone who can put something
Make it
together
plain,
like,
pastor,
"Who?"
make it
I'm like,
plain.
"How did you come up with that?" And that's the creativity. So I want to just implore everyone, just know that we're not talking solely YouTube video and
Yeah,
Soro and all that stuff. I am talking about living our life.
good point. Good point. That's exactly why I said professional and personal, right? Because these traits, best practices, ideas can resonate on all sides of our life. So glad that you
Mhm.
brought that specifically up.
Yeah, so we got another question, and then you guys get your last questions in. Get your last questions in. We're gonna start flicking lights. So, James, you talked about eliminating the noise. Is that similar to the 80-20 signal to noise rate? Here he come with Pareto. Signal to noise ratio that Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO talked about recently. Everybody talks
I I
about Pareto.
yeah, I laugh about that because the first time I heard about the 80-20 ratio was my old boss. So I used to work for Apple for 10 years, and that was one of the mantras of Steve Jobs. 80% of man, 80% of the stuff that comes through, you gotta move it to the side. There's so much happening, and really with this, the advent of social media, with the advent of just instant on all the time, and having the ability to get information. But there's pros and cons to it. It's a weird catch 22. We've always wanted to be those of us that are over a certain number of years were around when TV went off at midnight. Now I got 300 channels. I don't know what's going on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's a lot of noise that's happening. Bartlett, phenomenal podcast. That man has talked about, I think he started his podcast in like 2015, 2016, or something like that. And then it's taken him all this time to get to where he is. So phenomenal growth. And he has been locked in on specifically talking about mindset, specifically talking about life lessons, talking to folks that have experienced the game, learn from the game, and are willing to share. So if you're not listening to a podcast, if you're not listening to that particular podcast, definitely listen to it. That's a recommendation. Again, long answer short, yeah, that is where that comes from. It doesn't come from me, it doesn't come from Steve, though. It comes from not that Steve, it comes from Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Pareto, I believe that Pareto works
Mhm.
in everything,
Yeah.
every part of our life. It may not be exactly 80-20, but it's sometimes it's 70-30, sometimes it's 90-10, but essentially that principle of 80-20 works. And for those who may have heard it in one way, it's essentially 80% of your gain, your progress, your revenue, your growth, whatever it is you're doing is really comes down to that 20% of the work that you do. So it's that 20% that you have to pay attention to get the
Mhm.
80% result. The other is the reverse is also true. 20% of the people, so think about this anytime you're working with a group of people, 20% of the people are going to do the real work. 80% are just there. Don't get frustrated
Yeah.
because it absolutely works. And everyone says, I'm busy. I don't have bandwidth. I don't have time. What they're really saying is what you're so those who know me, now I'm about to tell you what happens in my head when you say that to me. What I'm saying to you is not a priority to you because that's really what it means.
Yeah.
What I'm asking for is not a priority to you, and it's okay. It is perfectly fine. Because now, when, and as a business owner, as a creator, as a parent, as a whatever it is you do, when someone says, I'm too busy, I don't have bandwidth, I don't have time, just realize what the person is saying is whatever thing you're bringing to me is not enough of a priority to me. Say to yourself, it's okay. Now you know how to move. Now you have enough input to make a decision on how you're going to move without getting upset, without getting frustrated,
Yeah.
without seeing
Yeah.
that all the stuff that we as humans can do. Just
Yeah.
realize because what we all know as adults, people make time for the things that are important for them. 100% of the time. Someone who values shopping, if you ask them to help you move a couch. Girl, I don't have time. I'm so busy. Ooh, I got so much going on. 10 minutes later, you call them up and they value shopping and you say, hey, you want to go to Neiman's with me? I need to go look at some dresses. Yeah, what time are we going? So
After we move this couch.
recognize that that's really genuinely, and it's not a slam against anybody. I'm
Yeah.
no different than anybody else. If what James wants me to do is not a priority to me, I don't have time. Now, I don't say those words to people. I would just simply say I'm not going to do that. No.
Yeah.
And I'm good with it. And that's a whole sentence. NO, those 2 letters.
And
Now I
that's
say it nicer than
I
that, but in my
oh,
head, I'm like,
I was
"No."
I was gonna say that's a whole vibe right there, and I try to let it marinate for a little bit so folks in the back of the room could get that, but that's part of the biggest challenge when I talk about folks being in their own way. Being okay with feedback, being okay with rejection, being okay with debate, just being okay with someone not on the same level, journey, path as you. That's one of the hardest things to get grips around. When you're passionate about something, it's 11:30 at night and you're working on something, you got an idea, you wanna call up your partners, you wanna call up somebody, I wanna hit the inner circle and say, "Y'all check this out. We building this," and no one responds. Why? Well, everybody's asleep or whatever the case. Everyone has their own thing going on, but too many times, folks s- not just pause, but stop right there with rejection, non-response, whatever the case may be, and that's why we never progress. That's why a lot of times folks don't progress. A lot of times, folks in this entrepreneurship game in the digital content creation world burn out because they're pushing so much out. They're trying to. They got all these ideas. They're trying to reach out to so many folks, and they're not getting the result that they want in their own mind or they expect in their own mind. They're not okay with the rejection. They're not okay with the constructive feedback. They're not okay with someone saying, "Hey, if you're building a show, if you're building a live stream, how about if you use a different font? How about if you change those web frames to be a little bit different instead of squares, you make them rectangles or whatever the case may be." I don't like that. Think about that color scheme that you're using. If you're not okay with having constructive feedback about something that you're building, especially when it's third person looking in, when it's somebody else who is going to be consuming that, then you're just gonna get all hurt. And you're gonna be like, I'm not gonna ask them nothing anymore. I'm not even gonna do it anymore. You know what? I'm just gonna go do something else. Yeah, that's just crazy talk.
Yeah.
I know that was like pivot to what you were talking about, but I
It's
had to
all
say that
good.
there.
It's
Yeah,
all good.
you can't let me
De
on the line. You
Denise
can't give me no
says,
microphone.
all the decisions can be overwhelming. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. There are decisions upon decisions upon decisions that we make and we must make every day. No one else can make those decisions for us. And it takes energy. And that's why having processes, having procedures, having a method of operating is so critical. It helps with the decision fatigue. I talked about
Yeah,
on multiple levels. I lay my clothes out at night. It sounds so juvenile, but the reason I do it is because I have no decisions to make in the morning about what I'm gonna wear. I've removed the decision. So all of those routine things, James, you talk about your former boss,
mm.
jeans and black shirt. He had much bigger things to think about
Yeah,
than what he was gonna put on the next day.
yeah, that's very
That
true.
is
That's very
so
true.
simple, but it starts with the simple things.
Yeah, and I will add to what Denise has right here. One, we wouldn't do this if we didn't kind of enjoy this, right? The chaos that comes with some of that, and if we didn't care about it, we wouldn't be so passionate about it. But the fact that we care about it, we kind of relish in some of the chaos. But keep in mind that again, having a mindset about you that you don't have to do all the things every single day. If you go ahead and it's a common sense kind of thing, and I'm not necessarily saying anything that's rocket science, but that prioritization, that realizing that what are the big needle mover types of activities that, man, if I knock this out, if I knock these 2, 3 things out today, Imma be 5% better from my goal perspective, from a personal and or professional. I knock these out today, Imma be in a good spot. Oh, I got these done before 11 o'clock AM, or I got these done early. Let me go hit some of these low hanging fruits too. Let me go tidy up that email list. Let me go uh, update my profile or my banner on my YouTube channel. Let me go do some of those other little things. Now that I got the big stuff knocked out. And then tomorrow, let's go do it again. That's just part of being a small business owner, an entrepreneur, solopreneur. That's part of being an active citizen in this digital economy. There's chaos to it. It's not going away. And again, some of us wouldn't have it any other way.
It's part of life. I want to be sure people understand it's a part of living. Whether you do volunteer work, you work at a food bank, you volunteer in your HOA, whether you volunteer in your house of worship, whether you have a family you're taking care of. There's chaos and there are things to be concerned about. The exact same principles that James is talking about, they apply across the spectrum. They are not isolated. Things like having a simple setup to be able to get your content out. I come, I sit down, my stream decks are here, my prompter is here. I don't use it to read a script. I use it because now I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at James, I'm
Mhm.
looking at the comments on the screen. I can see um, the sound so that I know if I mute myself, because y'all know I love to mute myself. I can see uh, different things. So that's what it's there directly in front of me so I can see it. The other stuff is off to the side. The Stream Deck pedal is on the floor. The lights are in the hit one button, lights are on. Hit a button, my Stream Deck um, page is exactly the way I want it. Hit a button, my uh, screens are set up and laid out. Those are efficiencies that you're not manually sitting there fooling with all the time. Now, here's the trick: invest a little bit of time in figuring out what those things are.
Mm. You done told folks to read the manual. Lord have mercy. Now you getting in people
Not
business now.
even reading before you even read the manual. Figure out what those things are. This week, and I want to share with you all one of the things I did. I m- got the community. It's growing. People are in there. People are engaging. And as I'm learning, many of you, if you know in the community, you also know that I'm sharing some behind the scenes raw stuff that I'm doing that it's not out in public. Um, I sat and I wrote out the onboarding process for new members coming in.
Mm, mhm.
I had done it, but I hadn't refined it. So I refined it. Okay, new member coming in, they get a DM from me. New member come in, they get this kind of this is an announcement that everybody know these are new members that joined. They get on the email list. The email sequence is there. That's all work that has to be done, but I only have to do it once and then look at it once every 90
Yeah.
days or so, and make sure it's
Iterate on
still
it, right?
locked in, refine it, but I don't have to start over. That's efficiency. The same type. So when I say think about in every area, I've got areas I have to work on too, just like everybody else. Trust and believe when I tell you I do. But in every area, look at, okay, what do I need to do differently to get a different result than what I'm getting now if I'm not getting what I expect, what I want, what I desire, what I dream of.
Yeah.
Because if I keep, the old proverbial, if I keep doing the same thing the same way I've been doing it, nothing is going to change. I can expect it, but it is not. So,
Very true. Very true. And again, so I can't be quiet. But the fact that if you didn't write down those operating procedures, if you just because they sounded good when you said them, but if you didn't have them written down so you could make them repeatable, you wouldn't be able to repeat it. And you wouldn't be consistent, and it wouldn't be at the same high quality as when one member comes in on Friday as the same as a new member comes in on Monday, right? So again, back to the aspect of being strategic and being from an execution perspective, writing down these operating procedures, writing down these things that you want to do, such that you can bring that high quality um, deliverable to folks for you coming into your community. Look at
mhm.
Gretchen in the building. Lord, hey, y'all don't know Gretchen done drove
Gretchen be
the
out there.
entire country
I'm like, I was tired
with her dog.
watching what she was doing. And hey, Dagan, it's been a minute. So glad to see you in the building. I am excited to see you. It has been a minute. I actually even haven't seen you in Roy's stream for a minute. So I hope all is well with you and your family. So I just for those who I threw it up on the screen, Mr. Hicks, while you were talking. But of course, you welcome Gretchen. Gretchen, always good to see you. And also Dagan. So glad to have you in the building with us. If you got a question, throw it in to the comments and we will get an answer to you. And if not, I think we have shared a good bit uh, with folks tonight, and I believe we have delivered some serious value to them. I'm gonna say it. I've gotten value if no one
Go
else
ahead and say it.
has.
Listen, you go ahead and say it. And we didn't even say the word AI one time. We didn't even say it,
Sir,
right?
let me just my Friday start
Not
with just
on purpose, I didn't say it,
yes,
right? And anything that we
because
talked about on
I
purpose.
am in that world every day,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day. And
It's a great tool, but
it's a
again,
great tool.
we
It's
didn't spend a whole lot of
some
time focused
phenomenal
on that.
things are doing, but
Yeah.
my brain needs a break from it. That's all I'm gonna say. Um
Glad I didn't bring
I
it up. Lord have mercy. I'm glad.
I'm
She
trying to
can't take me
understand,
nowhere.
Frank, what you saying? Frank put up here something. Can't ever rush out the door and realize halfway through the day you've got on the wrong outfit, mismatched socks,
Mm-mm.
or totally wrong shoes. You know what? Stop telling my
Mm, mm,
business.
mm.
Stop
Lord have mercy.
telling my business.
That's what happened when you drink that brown liquor too early in the day, Frank. See, you need to listen, focus on
Uh
yes, we are sometimes.
yeah.
Focus on
That was a lot of
priorities.
drive. I agree with you. A lot of driving she and her friend did. That was a 7,521 miles. My head hurts just thinking about it.
Great story though, great experience.
Mhm.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denise.
Thank you. Thank you, Denise, for sharing that. It was value and um yeah, a lot of driving. Cross country. So, Mr. Hicks, you let folks know how they can find you, and of course, links to your channel will be in the description. But and also, we were streaming to your channel tonight. I'm doing something new, y'all. Couple new things.
Is that right? I didn't even check. Hopefully we were. I don't
Hopefully, we
I
were. It said it.
I was just
I
I was
tried to
just
set
locked
it
in
up.
on you.
So
I
let
I was
folks
just
know
locked
how
in
they
on you.
can reach you and anything else you want to share before we get out of here.
Yeah. So here's something funny too. So as I was recently changing some assets, some digital assets, I realized that jameshicks.org gets blocked if you are behind a VPN. The VPN thinks that that particular URL is a gambling site. So my one link site, I changed it to jameshicks.link, and that has access to my YouTube channel, access to my community, access to my merch store, and things like that. So you can either go to hicksnewmedia.com or you can go to jameshicks.link. But it was really interesting to see because I was doing some testing again from my data nerd self. I saw that there were connections lost for folks that were coming in from a VPN, a virtual private network. So typically, folks coming in from a corporate location, right, where they lock down where you can go to, and it was being identified as a gambling site. I'm not a gambling site, y'all, so I made that adjustment as well. So long answer short, hicksnewmedia.com or jameshicks.link, and I'm always available to just have a discussion, bounce ideas off, hopefully bring some insight or some information. Again, I may not know everything, but I know enough, and I know a lot of people who I can at least put you in contact with if I can't get the answers for you. So, still learning and still in this marathon with everyone, and just appreciate again this opportunity to talk to you and your community.
Yeah, and thank you, David. I am. It's getting there. It has been definitely a marathon, not a sprint. Good thing I am a long distance runner, so I understand the thinking and the patience and the strategy. Sometimes you rather than the fast sprint, you take in the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 mile journey, and it is a different type of journey. It is a different type of run, and you have to run your race, not somebody else's. So, with that, gang, David Hunt is being off the chain. You were supposed to be in the lounge. I'm going to say good night to you guys. Glad to have you with us, and we are going to get out of here. And I'm going to talk to Mr. Hicks for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to get off with him. So, good night, everybody.